but you don't know how hard it is. We just trying to make ends meet, just like how you guys are trying to make ends meet. We are trying to make ends meet and get ourselves back on our feet.
But I get a strong feeling that you will.
Yes, we will.
You look like you are determined.
I am. I am the determined person. That's, I guess, maybe why I am so. That's maybe why I'm so.
Well, that's our show. But remember, the people of Grand Bahama and Abaco are still recovering from Hurricane Dorian. So remember to support them and the environment, too. We'll see you next time on The Bahamas Naturally.
By giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought was a wonderful way of showing this love, and I believe that it is love that truly draws people, and so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
The thought of colon cancer never really crossed my mind until 2019, when a very good friend of mine was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. I was shocked. Everybody was shocked because he was a picture of perfect health. He was young, athletic, successful, and full of life. Many of us are still in disbelief. I started to question my own health because if it happened to him, surely it could happen to me. Then came the fear, the anxiety, and everything else in between. Facing your own mortality is very sobering. But for me, I decided right then to have a colonoscopy, and I'm glad I did.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer diagnosed in Bahamian men and women. Fortunately, almost all colon cancers are preventable. A colonoscopy or some other appropriate form of colon cancer screening is recommended for everyone over the age of 45. During a colonoscopy, we can detect and remove colon polyps that may grow and later become colon cancers. Don't wait until you develop symptoms, such as blood in your stool, abdominal pain, a significant change in your bowel habits, or unintentional weight loss. These may all be indications of a severe problem that requires immediate attention. If you're over the age of 45 or have any of those symptoms, talk to your doctor about the benefits of colon cancer screening.
By giving unconditionally.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the Bahamas cabinet convening on Grand Bahama for the 4th time. The Prime Minister highlights the significance of the occasion. Plus, a groundbreaking symbolizing a vital leap towards much-needed healthcare improvements on this northern island. And the Grand Bahama International Airport will be demolished. Further details to come. In the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starting now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, it was a big day on Grand Bahama as the nation's decision makers. The Cabinet of the Bahamas held a meeting on this island. It marked the 4th time in the country's history that cabinet members converged on Grand Bahama. The nation's leader led the team. Our Christine Pinder caught up with the Prime Minister, who says today's visit was significant for 2 major reasons.
Cabinet ministers began arriving shortly after 8 a.m. at the Harold de Gregory building here in Grand Bahama. It was an historic occasion as Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, led members of the Cabinet of the Bahamas to Grand Bahama for a cabinet meeting. The cabinet meeting taking place at the Ministry for Grand Bahama. The Prime Minister telling ZNS News about the reason for this one-day mission, which is twofold. He had a special message for the people of this island.
Well, it prompted my decision to come to Grand Bahama on the premise that Grand Bahama needs to appreciate that this government has not forgotten them, and because we have planned the ceremony for the contract award for the new Freeport Grand Bahama Hospital, we thought it fitting to coincide our cabinet meeting with that event, which is significant and historical in our view.
The cabinet meeting coming hours ahead of the groundbreaking ceremony for a new hospital on Grand Bahama. The nation's leader pointing to the importance of the contract signing for this new medical facility.
Well, it's cabinet, and we don't, we are bound by secrecy of cabinet, but we had a very fruitful meeting. Things for Grand Bahama were discussed, and we look forward to being here and celebrating this grand occasion of the breaking of the ground for the new hospital.
The Prime Minister remains optimistic about the future of Grand Bahama and says that projects are on the horizon.
Well, there are one or two things that's under very sensitive negotiations at the moment, but I can assure Grand Bahamians that by my budget communication, more will be revealed, and it's all looking bright.
For the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, I'm Christine Pender.
Thanks, Christine. Well, more infrastructural development is in the pipeline for Grand Bahama, this time the Grand Bahama International Airport. The facility was destroyed during Hurricane Dorian, and according to the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, the building that was once the gateway for travel will stand no longer.
We are about to begin demolition. That process is imminent at the moment. There are very complex agreements that's currently being prepared. The lawyers are working diligently. As you would imagine, there is a foreign lender. There is a foreign airport concessionaire, the airport managers. There are local groups. There's a consortium of 5 different entities, and therefore there are a lot of legal agreements to be completed.
PM Cooper says while the process is underway, consultants are on the ground, and he is expected to meet with them on May 23rd to view designs.
The process is that we've entered the MOU. We're now completing the full set of legal agreements and designs. We're going to begin the demolition work shortly. Renovations of the air traffic control tower is going to begin first, and then we will go into full-scale construction. Suffice to say, the deadline of 2025 is still in play. That is a hard deadline. All of the parties involved acknowledge and are committed to this deadline.
Meantime, the Grand Lucine Resort, Grand Bahama's major anchor property, remains on the market for sale. Now, prior to today's cabinet meeting, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister responsible for tourism, investments and aviation told reporters that while they remain cautiously optimistic, any potential buyer has to show proof of funding. Our Aja Kwan joins us live at the Grand Lucine with more on this.
Ramiko, simply put, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper says money talks when it comes to the sale of the Grand Lucine Resort. Now, it has been up for sale for some time now, and the Tourism Minister acknowledges that there is still significant interest in the resort. Now, of course, he also sheds light on the government and major airlines' collaboration to continue stimulating tourism on the island.
They show me the money
Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, standing on the position the government has taken to validate proof of funding, aiming to ensure that potential buyers have the necessary financial resources to not only acquire the resort, but also invest in its future development.
We've taken a show me the money position, and once we are satisfied, we will make a further announcement. Until then, we're going to continue to work through the process, and when we get to that stage where we're completely satisfied, we'll provide more information to the public.
In 2019, the previous administration signed a letter of intent with Royal Caribbean International and the ITM Group for the purchase of the Grand Lucine Resort and the redevelopment of the Freeport Harbor that eventually now confirming that the Freeport Harbor is not a part of any Grand Lucine proposals currently on the table, but they do have their own in the making.
There are proposals at very preliminary stages in relation to the Freeport Harbor. I won't speak to that today.
Cooper reveals the ongoing efforts to collaborate with new and existing airlines like Bahamas Air, WestJet, Frontier, just to name a few, in order to stimulate tourism on the island. And although hotel rooms is one of Grand Bahama's biggest challenges, the tourism minister says they are working towards the opening of Breakers Key Hotel, which is one of the 3 properties at the Grand Lucine Resort.
We are hoping that we'll be able to get Breakers Key open in a relatively short period of time to support the airlift that will come. Suffice to say, all of our airline partners are standing by and they are ready to support the island of Grand Bahama.
Now, Remiko, DPM Cooper also says that numbers are continuing on an upward progression, particularly tourist numbers, which is 4% shy of 2019 numbers, and also cruise numbers are up 188% compared to 2019. As for the sale of this resort, well, its future is looking promising once potential buyers can prove they have the funds. Live here on the Grand Lucine Resort grounds, reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azure Quant. Back to you, Remiko.
Well, switching gears now, the issues of erected shanty towns continue to plague several islands across the country. Minister of Works and Utilities, the Honorable Alfred Sayers, says a committee is in formation to create a comprehensive national plan to tackle those shantytown issues.
So we will be unveiling shortly a comprehensive national plan. And because of the implications in terms of the international obligations of the country, we're also communicating with some of the multilateral agencies because it will involve a major undertaking of expenses.
The Works and Utilities Minister revealed plans to have a budget approved to begin this process.
A budget has been formulated, and we're speaking with the Ministry of Finance and also seeking the cabinet approval, of course. How much is the number?
In other news, a top executive of the Grand Bahama Port Authority is acknowledging that the relationship between the organization and the government is not as strong as it could be. Speaking candidly with our Simone Davis, the executive revealed that both parties need to work together more closely to achieve their shared goals for Grand Bahama. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, shared the same sentiments. Here's that report.
For years, the relationship between the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the Bahamas government has been a hot topic, with many Grand Bahamians arguing that it may have not been beneficial for residents on the island. Recently, GBPA executive Rupert Hayward spoke to us about the issue, acknowledging the need for improvement.
Look, long-standing partnerships over a long period of time go through ups and downs. I think leadership is about working with all stakeholders to find solutions in the best interests of Grand Bahamians and Bahamians at whole. So it's incumbent on government and Port Authority as leaders in the community, both national and local, to come together as leaders in the community to create the solutions and the frameworks and the future that people of Grand Bahama deserve.
Hayward also shared several reasons why he believes the relationship needs to improve.
Absolutely. It is absolutely critical for Grand Bahama that that relationship is productive and that, you know, the national goals and the local goals, which are very similar. We all want Grand Bahama to thrive. We all want Grand Bahama to succeed. It's just a question of everyone getting together and putting robust plans together, working collaboratively and constructively to make sure that those plans are realized so we can see growth and prosperity and resilience on the island of Grand Bahama.
We also spoke with Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, to get her views from a governmental perspective on the importance of the relationship between the two.
The Port Authority has had its fair share of challenges over the years, and the government has always strived to work with the Port Authority. Grand Bahama has been going through so much, and we need immediate relief, but we also need a Port Authority that is progressive, that is making things happen. And so the government from day one has been communicating with the Port Authority, the shareholders of the Port Authority, to ensure that Grand Bahama is headed in the right direction. So what we want is for the best for our people, for our island. We want businesses to thrive. And so we've been communicating with the port to ensure that that happens.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, when we come back, the biggest story of the day, the groundbreaking for a new hospital on Grand Bahama. That story, sports, and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
You asked for it, you've got it. A new plant nursery, fully loaded with everything you need. And extended hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Visit Island Care Pharmacy on Explorers Way, next to Tico's Clothing Store. They offer the best in pharmaceutical, healthcare, and medical supplies. Take advantage of their medical discount plan today. Island Care Pharmacy. Phone 602-0932.
Stepping Out in Faith Global Ministries presents Supernatural Now Awakening 2023 with Bishop Anthony and Apostle Sharon Johnson, May 18th through 20th, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the Grand Lucayan Resort. Seats are limited.
Sending warm wishes and loving thoughts to Wilhelmina Sargent on her birthday. From your children, Rochelle, Sherelle, and Dion.
And culture, wicked straight junk canoe, fishing and sailing, just to name a few, free from bondage. That was our heritage. Our nation isn't perfect, there is more work to be done. Forward, upward, and onward towards the rising sun. Yes, we should be proud. It's time to say it loud. Oh, grab your flag, wave it from side to side. Aqua, gold, and black represents your pride. Lift your head and say, I'm a proud Bahamian.
Meet David Ferguson.
So Bahama Marines was complimentary because several things. It was formative in that it allowed me to think critically as to how I study best. This is supposed to be an intellectual experience that you enjoy. Yes, it's a competition, but when you look back at it, you don't want to be so focused on the competitive aspect of this that you miss the intellectual engagement, stimulation, and development that you can gain from this. This should give you a skill or help you learn more about yourself so that you take that with you as you progress in your career and start your university studies.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The second major event, a groundbreaking ceremony for a new hospital taking place this afternoon just off East Sunrise Highway. Some believe it symbolizes the initial step towards much-needed healthcare improvements on this northern island. Our Simone Davis joins us live now at that groundbreaking ceremony. Simone, what can you tell us?
Yes, Ramiko, we are still here at the site where the groundbreaking for the Freeport Health Campus was held earlier today. Now, the crews are behind me breaking down, but I can tell you that the excitement definitely filled the atmosphere today as a host of government officials, medical professionals, and residents all gathered to witness that historic signing for a new state-of-the-art hospital on Grand Bahama. The Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, was also on hand and gave remarks emphasizing that this development is only phase 1.
In his remarks at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Freeport Health Campus, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis celebrated this milestone for Grand Bahama, noting that this is just the introduction to the state-of-the-art facility promised to Grand Bahamians.
Today is an extraordinary day for residents of Grand Bahama and the city of Freeport. I am thrilled to be present for this momentous occasion. In just a few minutes, we will commence the groundbreaking of the Freeport Health Campus, initiating the construction of a groundbreaking outpatient and urgent care facility that will cater to the needs of Grand Bahamians and the Northern Bahamians residents for generations yet to come. It is particularly noteworthy that this endeavor begins during a year when Bahamians nationwide and around the globe commemorate the golden anniversary of our national independence.
Minister of Health, the Honorable Michael Darville, acknowledged the hardship that Grand Bahamians faced within the healthcare system.
We all know the challenges that we currently face with the Grand Bahama or the Rand Memorial Hospital and the services provided here. And from government to government, we have been tagging along, trying to do our best. And the time has finally come. After years of hard work with professionals who are here to celebrate and those who may even passed on. Now, I want to just give you a little perspective of how long this has been going on, because we go back to the Dorset Report 1. These are healthcare planners. The Dorset Report 2, the review of the Dorset Report, the Geisa World Report 1, the Geisa World Report 2, all in an attempt to make the right decisions for what is necessary for the island of Grand Bahama.
And Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, commended the nation's chief for following through on his promises for Grand Bahama.
What we are witnessing is the fulfillment of a promise made by this Davis Cooper administration to the people of Grand Bahama. In our blueprint for change, we said that we would recover, rebuild, and revolutionize. And for this island, today is a visible display of that pledge.
Managing Director at the Public Hospitals Authority, Abinette Roll, spoke to the importance of the Public Hospitals Authority keeping its promise to provide quality health care to all Bahamians.
Today, with great joy and a profound sense of optimistic anticipation, we break ground on what I am sure will become a new Grand Bahama landmark. A landmark that represents more than the future of health facilities design. It will represent the future of healthcare in the Bahamas.
The entire country, and indeed the PHA, has heard your pleas and cries. Although long overdue, today we break ground on a new state-of-the-art health campus here in Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama, I can assure you that this is real. This is not a promise. This is not talk. This is action at work.
Now, the first phase of this development is set to be completed by the end of 2024. Live from the Freeport Health Campus on East Sunrise Highway for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Simone Davis. Back to you in studio.
Well, thanks so much, Simone. Well, ZNS News on the streets today, speaking with residents about the groundbreaking ceremony for the new hospital. Although they welcome the news of a new hospital, residents are cautiously optimistic and want to see tangible progress.
We having one now, so thank God, that's all.
The need for improved healthcare infrastructure that can provide quality medical services to the people of Grand Bahama is long overdue. But concerning the groundbreaking ceremony, a Grand Bahamian woman says that previous promises and announcements that have not come to fruition have led to a sense of fatigue and skepticism.
We really need the hospital, but two groundbreaking really isn't what's going to have everybody thrilled.
She says it is time for
action.
An 80-year-old resident expresses that while she is happy to see progress in terms of the infrastructure, she believes equal attention should be given to ensuring top-notch patient care.
The medical system needs upgrading very seriously, and we need some nice people with heart to work there. Hospital is one thing, but the place, people who take care of you are another. And that's important. Be nice to people. They're not sick because they want to be sick.
I had to wait on the porch outside 12 hours, and the pain was killing me. I mean, pain. My brother had to start raising trouble for them to put me inside. I was hospitalized for 5 days with my leg.
I had to go to Nassau for treatment. That's supposed to be here, right? And I had to find my own money to go over there. And I'm a pensioner. So I don't think it's fair to us. We need things over here.
I think it'll be great if we can get a new hospital.
Those residents say they are pleased with the groundbreaking ceremony for the new hospital on Grand Bahama. However, their expectations extend beyond the physical building. Well, in news from police on the island of Bimini are searching for leads into the apparent drowning of a 41-year-old man. Reports indicate that shortly before 8 o'clock on Saturday, officers received information that an adult male crew member on a fishing vessel was missing. Hours later, the man's lifeless body was found floating in waters near the government in North Bimini. The victim's body was retrieved and was transported to the Alice Town Clinic, where he was seen, examined by a doctor who pronounced him dead. The drowning victim is believed to be a resident of Grand Bahama. Well, also from Bimini tonight, police officers are busy searching for 25-year-old Jason Roll, also known as Spicy. Roll is a resident of South Bimini. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighs 180 pounds, dark brown complexion, slim build with dark brown eyes. If you spot Jason Roll, you're asked to dial police at 911, the National Crime Prevention Office at 302-8430 or 1, Crime Stoppers at 352-1919, 350-3106 or 9, the Family Island at 242-300-8476. It's now time for your check on sports with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. We have a whole lot of sports for you today. Let's jump right in. NACAC New Life Track Invitational attracted over 100 elite athletes to the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. The one-day event also served as a World Championship qualifying event. Athletes like Adam Musgrove in the 100 meters and Tamaya Myers in the women's triple jump got a taste of international competition on home soil.
I felt it was pretty decent. I felt as if I executed well, but just one of those days, I feel like I could run faster, but I'm happy with my execution, and that was most important for me coming into this race.
I'm in the best shape of my life right now. It's just a matter of getting to meet, so it's been an adjustment coming here. My first couple jumps, I had to make adjustments right out the gate, but as I got warmer and got adjusted to it, I felt a bit better. Just have to work on a few more things leading international, but I'm very, very thankful that me was held here in the Bahamas and I got the chance to compete in front of my home crowd.
The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Boleg, was on hand to capture the action.
We need to continue the development by ensuring that we have all disciplines played here by putting the necessary facilities. They say if you build it, they will come. We have the track, and so we want to ensure that we have more athletics competitions here as much as possible. I do believe, this is my personal belief, that if we have the facilities here in Grand Bahama, it can be the sports capital in the Bahamas. And the reason I say that is because while we may have sports in paradise in New Providence, we don't need that in order to get tourists to New Providence. But I believe as the state of Grand Bahama now, if we can have the facilities built in Grand Bahama, we can increase the economic boost in Grand Bahama through sports tourism.
And finally in sports, Chavez Young hit his second home run of the series against the St. Paul Saints AAA club of the Minnesota Twins affiliate. The 25-year-old has 3 home runs on the year with 16 RBIs and 19 hits. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
Hi, I would like to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Let us put shoes on your feet.
John West Shoes is now open. Carmichael West, Nassau, behind Wendy's.
The best of the best, all Bahamian concert. Come on. Hey, this your boy Gino D, letting you know that the road to the 50th celebration leads to Commissioner's Field West End, Grand Bahama, May 26th to the 28th, featuring Papa Smurf, Elon Moxie, Puzzle, Melody, Wilfred Solomon, Lil Joe Cartwright, Veronica Bishop, Nishi LS, D-Mac, KB, and yours truly, Gino D, backed by the Police Pop Band. Sunday, May 28th at Commissioner's Field. See you there. The best of the best, all Bahamian concert.
It's Worship in Paradise, bringing experiences from around the world to the Grand Lucayan Hotel on Grand Bahama, the Bahamas. It's the Barry B. Morris International Music and Fine Arts Conference, Praising 250, featuring Pastor Benita Jones from Atlanta, Georgia, Pastor Emmanuel De Jesus, New Jersey, Pastor Timothy Johnson, Nassau, Bahamas, Minister Valerie Tuttle, Kentucky, Pastor Barry B. Morris, and many others. Come out and be transformed at this 3-day cultural and worship conference with performances by worship teams from Canada, the United Kingdom, Eastern Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, Spanish and Creole worship team, the Tabernacle Concert Choir, the Bahamas Public Officers Choir, the Fabulous Cooling Water, Pastor Simeon Out, and the Bahama Brass Band. Registration is $120. The cultural concert is $20. It's the Barry B. Morris International Music and Fine Arts Conference, June 2nd through 4th at 7:30 p.m. at the Grand Lucayan Hotel in Freeport, Grand Bahama, the Bahamas. Come out and claim your blessing.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Our Facebook friend of the day is Thelma Shakespeare Green, and avid ZNS fan. We say happy birthday to you and stay forever young as you celebrate 89 years young. We also want to say a happy birthday to Lady Darlene Martinborough. We say happy birthday and hope that you had an extra special day. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, a comprehensive plan for shantytown demolition. Gender-based law to come. Passport renewal spike. And in sports, new volleyball champs crowned. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Makush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. The Davis administration spending the day in Grand Bahama, the venue for its weekly cabinet meeting, as well as the groundbreaking ceremony for that island's new hospital. On the sidelines of that event, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis was asked to comment on the recent Privy Council ruling that children born to unmarried Bahamian men and foreign women are in fact Bahamians. In response, Davis noted that there are some presumptions.
Presumption that if there's a birth certificate that has the father's name on it, there's a presumption that he is the father. But there are a lot of issues that has to be worked out. What happens now is that if you were born in the Bahamas and you're able to demonstrate that your father is a Bahamian, then you don't need to apply to become a citizen. You are automatically a citizen, and you just need to apply for your passport as evidence of it if you think you need it. But quite apart from that, once you can demonstrate that your father is your father and your father knows.
Now, following the landmark ruling, Labor and Immigration Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, revealed that there are an estimated 1,500 applications on his desk that seek redress to their citizenship status. When asked if this citizenship issue might affect his government's legislative agenda, here's the PM's response.
Awaiting some advice from the Attorney General's office on where we are going, and I know his office is looking at what steps to be taken going forward, but that's not a priority at this time because you have the court ruling, and the court ruling right now settles what the law is. The question is how it is to be.
Well, a comprehensive plan's being put together meantime for shanty towns following a recent Supreme Court ruling ordering the demolition of just 2 of nearly 180 unregulated structures. The ruling handed down on the same day the country's human rights record was being examined by the UN in Geneva, Switzerland. Now, speaking on the issue ahead of Tuesday's cabinet meeting in Grand Bahama was Public Works Minister, the Honorable Alfred Sayers, who heads an interministerial committee on this very complex issue that includes the Attorney General, the Ministers of Immigration, National Security, Social Services, and Foreign Affairs.
Because of the implications in terms of the international obligations of the country, we're also communicating with some of the multilateral agencies because it will involve a major undertaking of expenses, and we are also trying to see how we can get the maximum support of multilateral partners so that we can address this situation in a comprehensive way.
Now, in terms of how big a financial undertaking this is, Sayers said only this.
A budget has been formulated, and we're speaking with the Ministry of Finance and also seeking the cabinet approval, of course.
The minister stressing that this demolition exercise is not restricted to shantytown structures, but all those non-compliant with the building code. As for a timeline when this will all take place, he simply said, stay tuned. Air chartered flight after 10 this morning for Port-au-Prince, Haiti. The group comprising 36 males, 8 females, and a minor. The Department of Immigration's Deportation Enforcement, K-9, and drone units led the escort. Officials again assuring that all security and health protocols were observed as the safety and welfare of officers, law enforcement, and migrants remain the highest priority. Labor Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, reiterating in Grand Bahama just today that repatriations for the first quarter of this year now total more than half of the repatriations executed last year, and that figure is close to 3,000. Well, still no official figure on the national unemployment rate. Meantime, last year, the Inter-American Development Bank estimated that this would stand at 18%, while TradingEconomics.com forecast that in the long term, the Bahamas unemployment rate is projected to trend around 9.8% this year. The website quotes Department of Statistics data that the unemployment rate increased to 25.60% in 2020 from 9.5% in 2019. Well, Labor Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, says officials are awaiting the results of the latest census before unveiling the official numbers.
From the job fairs we have had, we know that in excess of 3,000 persons have been employed, and that is the numbers that just belong to the job fairs. It doesn't include those from the private sector and, of course, in the government sector where they are continuing to hire as well. So I'm satisfied that the numbers are trending downwards.
Minister Bell also revealing today that the Department of Labor's probe at the Atlanta's Paradise Island Resort should be completed within the next week or two. At issue, the resort's president and managing director, Audrey Oswell, urged staff in a formal communication to take a stand in relation to the proposed multi-million-dollar Royal Caribbean International's Beach Club project on Paradise Island. The department wanted to determine the impact of the communication on the resort's staff. In other news this evening, gender-based violence legislation set to be laid in the House of Assembly within a week or two. So says Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honourable Obi Bolshcom. When asked if penalties for those found guilty of sexual assault were stiff enough, the minister insists introducing tougher penalties is not the answer to addressing sexual assault, as some individuals have a deeper problem that has to be dealt with in a different way. He went further to point out that when society begins to accept some things as normal, people fail to recognize that the country is headed in the wrong direction.
We're changing laws, but law alone will not make it happen, will not change the issue that we're facing. After the crime is committed. What we have to work on is to arrest the mind before the crime is committed. So how do we get to the people so that it doesn't happen? We're about to lay on the table of the House of Assembly our legislation dealing with violence against women. So that's going to be laid very shortly. It's now completed. The marital rape legislation, we have a very important meeting on Thursday with the church. Hopefully, subsequent to that, we'll be able to move in that direction, get that legislation done as well. But the legislation alone is not going to be the answer.
The minister adding that this week he will meet with the Baptist Missionary and Educational Convention on marital rape legislation, as there are still concerns about the language of that bill. He addressed criticism of the church's opinion on the issue being given too great a focus.
Nothing wrong with that. The church is a part of our community and our country. Remember now, we're the Progressive Liberal Party. The Progressive Liberal Party formed in 1953 always had the church with it. The church went to the United Nations, went to the UK, went everywhere discussing decolonization. Everything that we have done as a party and a government, the church has been a part of it, and the church will remain a part of it, because we have to appreciate that there is a church in the state, and together we make a great country.
In related news, a 27-year-old man is in police custody tonight for recent sexual assault matters in the Bacardi Road area. Police confirming that the Lincoln Boulevard resident, who's on bail for armed robbery and murder, was arrested without incident by Criminal Investigation Department officers at his home around 2:30 this afternoon. Officers also at the time recovered the alleged vehicle used in the commission of the crimes, along with a loaded pistol. Police attribute the suspect's successful apprehension to excellent police detection and its available resources. Police continue, though, to encourage the public to adhere to the recent crime prevention and safety protocols recently given by them to avoid becoming a victim of sexual assaults. Well, the National Security Minister is commenting on this weekend's crime report, highlighting 4 men being charged with rape. The incident prompting, as we just indicated, a police advisory for women to be more vigilant.
To help you in securing yourself. As I have said repeatedly, rape, people who commit rape, people who commit offenses, sexual offenses against children have to be disordered. There are enough adults around here willing to consent to relations that you really don't have to be raping anyone. You really don't have to be fooling with young children. And so, to my mind, it's a disorder. You only address it when it happens. You report it so the police can deal with the people who now are identified as persons who are likely to do that.
Now, as mentioned at the top of tonight's news, the Prime Minister headlined the officials who traveled to Grand Bahama to break ground on a new hospital there. Today's ceremony, a red letter day for Grand Bahamians who hope such a significant investment signals the start of that island's long-awaited economic rebound. Simone Davis of our Northern Service reports on today's historic event.
Good evening, Makushla. And yes, we are still here at the site where the groundbreaking ceremony for the Freeport Health Campus was held earlier today. Now, the crews are breaking down behind me right now, but I can tell you that excitement definitely filled the atmosphere earlier today with a host of government officials, medical professionals, and residents who all gathered to witness the historic contract signing for the new state-of-the-art hospital right here on Grand Bahama. The nation's chief, the Honorable Philip Davis, was also on hand and gave remarks emphasizing that this development is only phase one. In his remarks at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Freeport Health Campus, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, celebrated this milestone for Grand Bahama, noting that this is just the introduction to the state-of-the-art facility promised to Grand Bahamians.
Today is an extraordinary day for residents of Grand Bahama and the city of Freeport. I am thrilled to be present for this momentous occasion. In just a few minutes, we will commence the groundbreaking of the Freeport Health Campus, initiating the construction of a groundbreaking outpatient and urgent care facility that will cater to the needs of Grand Bahamians and the Northern Bahamians residents for generations yet to come. It is particularly noteworthy that this endeavor begins during a year when Bahamians nationwide and around the globe commemorate the golden anniversary of our national independence.
Minister of Health, the Honorable Michael Darville, acknowledged the hardship that Grand Bahamians faced within the healthcare system.
We all know the challenges that we currently face with the Grand Bahama or the Rand Memorial Hospital and the services provided here. And from government to government, we have been tagging along, trying to do our best. And the time has finally come. After years of hard work with professionals who are here to celebrate, and those who may even passed on. Now, I want to just give you a little perspective of how long this has been going on, because we go back to the Dorset Report 1, these are healthcare planners, the Dorset Report 2, the review of the Dorset Report, the Geisa World Report 1, the Geisa World Report 2, all in an attempt to make the right decisions for what is necessary for the island of Grand Bahama.
And Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, commended the nation's chief for following through on his promises for Grand Bahama.
What we are witnessing is the fulfillment of a promise made by this Davis Cooper administration to the people of Grand Bahama. In our blueprint for change, we said that we would recover, rebuild, and revolutionize. And for this island, today is a visible display of that pledge.
Managing Director at the Public Hospitals Authority, Abinette Roll, spoke to the importance of the Public Hospitals Authority keeping its promise to provide quality health care to all Bahamians.
Today, with great joy and a profound sense of optimistic anticipation, we break ground on what I am sure will become a new Grand Bahama landmark. A landmark that represents more than the future of health facilities design. It will represent the future of healthcare in the Bahamas.
The entire country and indeed the PHA has heard your pleas and cries. Although long overdue, today we break ground on a new state-of-the-art health campus here in Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama, I can assure you that this is real. This is not a promise. This is not talk. This is action at work.
Now, Makushla, phase one of this development is set to be completed by the end of 2024. Live from the Freeport Health Campus on East Sunrise Highway for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Simone Davis. Back to you in studio.
Well, thanks, Simone. And as promised, a new hospital is also planned for New Providence. Here's this update from Health and Wellness Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville.
Feasibility study was completed. The geotechnical studies have now been completed, and it is confirmed that the rock is strong enough to handle a multi-story facility. We will be making the announcement of the site in short order. It's just one or two things left, but that is progressing extremely well in Providence.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
We are a leading Bahamian bank, one of the largest publicly traded companies on BISX. Our measure of strength is our growth and performance, with over $1.7 billion in assets. We remain committed to serving the interests of our shareholders, staff, clients, and communities. The confidence to lead, the performance to remain. We are Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC. From the experts that created the Kentucky Chicken Sandwich comes the crispy barbecue sandwich. Bacon, cheddar cheese, crispy onions, and the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor. KFC. It's finger-licking good.
This segment of the news is brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan.
The first in a series of 3-day training workshops on the Freedom of Information Act launched today. The 2017 legislation seeks to promote government accountability, transparency, and integrity by granting public access to government records. And as FOI Commissioner, retired Justice Keith Thompson explains, this is exactly why public authorities are the first to be trained. So far, 10 agencies are part of the first pilot project workshop.
Only certain portions of the Act are presently in force. Reason being, regulations have to be put in place. Once the regulations are put in place and the regulations are virtually ready, then they'll have to go to the House, be approved, and then they'll become active in law. These information managers will be having this initial training on the fundamentals of the Act, what is disclosable, what is not disclosable.
Now, Thompson says the technology allowing public access to the information is being created. Building on those comments, FOI Deputy Commissioner Shane Miller says they've adopted the concept of train the trainer.
Once we get the regulations and so forth, which we anticipate to be much sooner than later, we will then be able to start facilitating requests from the public, at least with these first 10 pilot agencies.
And so when they go back, it's hoped that they will be able to create different units within their own departments and agencies and train those persons to actually know how to run the system also.
Well, with the summer travel season fast approaching, officials at the Passport Office claim the implementation of technology and the online portal is speeding up the application process, reducing wait time and eliminating the backlog. Fern Carey tells us more.
Officials at the Passport Office say they're seeing a significant spike in persons seeking to have their passport renewed during this busy summer travel period. Chief Passport Officer Kingsley Smith says applications for passport renewals usually increase during the summer months, with the Passport Office currently processing over 3,000 applications per month.
Between the months of May and August, there is approximately over 1,000 applications from a normal month. Say January and February, we're averaging 3,200 applications per month versus, say, the slow months of January and February, where we average about 2,200 applications a month. Inclusive, Nassau, Central Nassau, on an and through the summer periods, it's about 2,200. And when you look at the totality, that's including the Family Islands, international, it then goes up to about 3,200, 3,300 applications per month.
Smith is encouraging more people to use the online portal to renew their passports in order to reduce the wait time and to avoid standing on long lines.
Too often, persons present themselves to the passport office only having to find out that their passports were expired at the airport. We ask the public to have a look at their passport and their children's passport and make note of the expiration date. We encourage applicants to take advantage of the ability to renew passports 6 months prior to expiration. We invite applicants to take advantage of enrolling from the comforts of their homes at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs online portal for the renewal of e-passports for the ages of 15 years and older.
And since that Privy Council ruling on the issue of citizenship, the Chief Passport Officer noted that there has been a significant increase in persons calling or showing up at the passport office inquiring about the process.
We're still waiting on the guidance of the Office of the Attorney General on implementation. The numbers, I would say, is quite a number of people who will fall in this category. Be mindful, this will go back from the Constitution, 1973, persons who would have been affected from 1973.
Smith also boasted that there is no backlog in passport applications at this time. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
As the Bahamas eyes its Golden Jubilee, the University of the Bahamas will take a moment to reflect on the past with its Color, Class, and Colonialism 50 Years and Counting Conference set for Grand Bahama May 17th through the 19th. The event, to be hosted at UB North, features Bahamian academics, artists, and others examining the good, bad, and still unresolved aspects of Bahamian history. UB North Campus President Dr. Ian Strawn shares what the public can expect.
Naturally, one would expect celebrations, one would expect commemoration, and for us to look back at our achievements, which we ought. We also want to make sure that we provide a critical eye to look at all aspects of national life and to focus not just on where we have done well and are doing well, but where we can do even better and become an even better country, one that provides the best opportunities for all its citizens and one that is inclusive.
Two of the presenters, Father Ruel Strawn and UB's Associate Professor of History, Chris Curry, shares details of topics to be discussed.
I'll be speaking on the Bahamian theological pilgrimage towards an identity-shaped theology and a decolonized pursuit of holiness in an independent Bahamas, and I hope to explore some themes of race and identity and the Afro-Caribbean experience and how that can contribute to the shaping of theology in the Bahamas and in the wider Caribbean region.
Looking at the concept of the idea of the nation or nation formation being a social construct. And this is building on the theoretical work of Benedict Anderson, Imagined Communities. It's kind of a dated work, but I like the theory behind it, which is to suggest that nations aren't just legal documents. They're certainly not just territorial. They're also imagined.
The Department of Meteorology is hosting a 3-day storm surge workshop, bringing together approximately 20 industry professionals from across the region to develop a roadmap to help better predict storm surges, the most dangerous parts of a hurricane. The sessions are being held at the Margaritaville Beach Resort, and Acting Director of Meteorology, Jeffrey Simmons, says it has attracted meteorologists, hurricane and storm surge experts, oceanographers, forecasters, GIS experts, and emergency managers, individuals who play a pivotal role when it comes to disaster preparedness. Given that hurricanes are a staple in the region, he says the region would be better served if officials gain a better understanding of them and through better forecasting, better serve persons that may be impacted.
We can have our residents from around the region better prepared, and so that they can move out. So we can say to them, listen, this area you're going to have inundation at a certain level, so it also assists with the evacuation part of it. So hence, that's where the emergency managers and those come into being. So at the end of this workshop, we not only right now this workshop is focusing on the Bahamas. They've invited the regions to see how it is done, and then it will be developed for other states within the region, so that for this Atlantic basin we can have a comprehensive storm surge atlas for the residents in this region.
The workshop will help to inform where storm shelters should be opened or whether residents should evacuate. Suzanne Russell-Dorset, a GIS specialist with the National Emergency Management Agency, shared the expected outcome of the workshop.
Hopefully, we're able to see from the data that's going to be presented to the Bahamas more areas of vulnerability so that we know how to plan effectively for evacuations and mitigations for property, government critical assets. So we are hoping from this workshop to learn how we can plan better in the preparedness stage of disaster management.
The National Report returns in a moment. Stay with us.
This portion of the news is being brought to you by the 50th Independence Secretariat. Go to their website, celebrate-bahamas.com, or their Facebook page, Celebrate Bahamas, to see the schedule of exciting events.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a sand dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers.
It does not matter
which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
wherever sand dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
International Day of Plant Health is on the way. May 12th, the world will pause to celebrate the importance of plants and the need to keep them healthy. It is a day especially important to the staff of the Bahamas Agricultural Health Food Safety Authority, known as BAFSA, who are driving home the importance of plant health.
Plant health is critical to achieving food safety along the entire food chain. Climate change plays a major role in our ability to mitigate against pests, diseases, and those that are emerging every day. Having a food safety plan and implementing the appropriate use of pesticides on the farm allows for the adaptation of new and resilient methods to protect plant health and ensure that our food is safe, sustainable, and of the highest quality.
According to Minister of Agriculture Clay Sweeting, food security depends heavily on plant health.
The components of food security, which include access, availability, utilization, and stability, are, however, severely impacted by plant diseases. One such disease is Fusarium wilt disease, or tropical race 4, caused by the soil-borne fungus and considered one of the most destructive diseases of banana in the world. The potential impact of its threat is particularly severe as the Cavendish banana variety, which makes up about 47% of global production, is highly susceptible to the disease.
Prevention is therefore critical for the protection of agriculture and livelihoods of those that work in the sector, and for the protection of our food supply. Let's do our part to protect plants and to protect life. Happy International Day of Plant Health.
For Good to Grow, I'm Georgie O'Bain.
The
National Independence Secretariat recently hosted a 50th Independence Jubilee Day production that brought together the best of Bahamian arts and culture, held at the historic Southern Recreation Grounds, where generations of Bahamians gathered to fight for fair labor conditions, majority rule, and independence. The night's event featured a range of talented artisans, showcasing our story through dramatic prose, music, and dance. And the festivities didn't stop there. With a diverse array of Bahamian vendors on hand, providing delicious food and refreshing drinks, the crowd was energized and ready to celebrate our beloved nation's journey to independence. But this is just the beginning. There are even more exciting events and celebrations to come as we continue on our road to 50 years of independence. So join the beat and visit celebrate-bahamas.com to stay up to date on all the latest news and events.
You can find it all at Builders Mall. From cement, lumber, block, plumbing, and electrical to paint, lights, vanities, and tiles. Not to mention all the tools you could possibly need to get the job done. Say if you're starting a major project, adding the finishing touches, or just doing some repair or rental work around the house. FYP, the Paint Center, and Tile King can help. Stop by or call 601-8453. Located 69 Wolf Road, Nassau. You can find it all at Builders Mall. Building, painting, and tiling, the Bahamas.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Coming Thursday, the 18th of May, 2023, at Fernandez Bay Village and via Zoom is the first ever in-person Cat Island Business Outlet, which also covers San Salvador and Rum Key. Our theme is Forward, Upward, Onward Together. Our keynote speaker is Cat Island's own Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis. Other speakers will discuss airport development, roadworks and utilities, and foreign investment, and much more. Attend in person for $75 or $50 via Zoom. Register today at tclevents.com.
Village Road business owners returning to some degree of normalcy after reportedly incurring millions of dollars in losses due to a protracted road improvement project. Owner of Shore Alarms, Candy Weatherford, among those feeling the impact, but says that it was certainly not as severe as what other businesses in the area faced.
We've been, one of the lucky ones in that we don't have a lot of people that come here on a daily basis. So that has helped a lot. And with COVID and everything, we had found ourselves going more and more towards wire transfers and credit card payments and whatnot. So while we did feel the impact, it wasn't as severe as a lot of, our neighbors, because some of them really, it hit them very hard. The squash club, the ties down the road, they had no clientele whatsoever that were able to come in. The girl that does the dogs here, she felt the impact because no one could come in and, deliver their dog and pick it up.
Co-owner of Four Walls, Noelle Nichols, says for several months now, other Village Road business owners have mapped out new ways to grow their businesses.
Of us have been having different levels of success at achieving that. It's still a very difficult time for a lot of businesses, but we're very resilient and everybody is pressing forward and doing what is necessary. Although as a community we are in discussions with the government, we're not depending and waiting on the government for us to rebound. We're all going back to basics and doing what is necessary. There are a lot of service businesses in the area, and the repaving of the roads has created a boost for all of us because now, at least persons are willing to come back in the area and it's not such an inconvenience and a safety hazard.
A focus on issues impacting boys around the country highlighted on this International Day of the Boy Child. Our Lloyd Allen has more.
Around the world, today is celebrated as International Day of the Boy Child. And while many events took place around the country, here at Stephen Dillard Primary, a number of community leaders standing strong with one resounding message, protecting the leaders of tomorrow.
And this is the day that we set aside to
uplift boys. President of the International Men's Day movement, Keith Cox, says apart from arranging a number of like-minded men to support the day-long session with the boys at the school, his organization focused keenly on mental health.
Peer pressure, it's mental health. Boys can't find lunch at school. Come to school, all their friends are eating. That's mentally disturbing. They go home to a one-family parent. It all boils down to love, all right? We're not hugging our boys anymore. We're not showing our boys any affection anymore.
Cox says the hope is to inspire the youngsters to achieve their dreams and to not let their circumstances determine their altitude.
When you at a young age, you got this scales over your eyes and you're not open to the world. So now we're teaching this thing, blind them up, we open up, hey, the world is open to you.
Student leaders Don Lewis and Kadari Coakley say initiatives to encourage students are vital and offers their own advice towards success.
When younger students see other people achieving their goals, they want to achieve their goals. Study harder, get A's, choose the right friends.
Principal Clinton Josie expressed thanks for the ongoing support toward mentoring the youngsters. He reiterated those words of inspiration shared with the students daily.
One, you must always put God first. Remember, He's the source of everything. That's most important. Secondly, you have to show a source and a strength of dedication, dedicated to the cause, dedicated to your assignment, dedicated to your choice, because, there's discipline that comes with dedication. So definitely, and most importantly, you must always think futuristically.
And while there are many issues affecting young people today, Principal Josie is hoping that these bits of advice will usher these youngsters into a positive future. Reporting from Stephen Dillard Primary for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. There's a new doctor at the Family Medicine Center on Blake Road who comes with expertise in two important areas of medicine. Oprah Roach takes a closer look.
Get well, look good, so you can feel great.
Dr. Jonathan Higgins, a Bahamian vascular and cosmetic surgeon, is the newest addition to the medical team at the Family Medical Center. Now, for those of us who might not be aware of exactly what those specialties include,
vascular surgery looks at the two main big types of blood vessels, the arteries and veins. And I'm able to operate on all of the arteries and veins, except those that are immediately around the heart and except those that are immediately around the brain. Having said that, we don't just operate. We work on medical management. There may be administration of medications to patients to help them to get better from a vascular standpoint. There may be balloons, stents, minimally invasive procedures in the vascular world, as well as big operations that we can do. So vascular is very broad.
Now, Dr. Higgins also clarifies the difference between plastic surgery and cosmetic surgery and details some of the procedures that are included in cosmetic surgery.
I just want it to be clear, I'm not a plastic surgeon. Plastic surgery, a part of it, they deal with cosmetic and aesthetic, which is enhancement or improvement of a normal patient. And the other part, which they really focus on, would be reconstructive surgery. Patients that have been burned, trauma, or congenital defects, birth defects, that they fix. So I don't do any of that trauma. I don't do any of that burn surgery. I focus primarily on the aesthetics. And so what do I do in my practice? There's the facial cosmetic aspect, dealing with eyelid surgery, upper lids, lower lids, brow lift, facelift. We also do non-invasive things like Botox and fillers to combat the effects of aging. And then when we think about body contouring, we offer liposuction as a minimally invasive way. We think about using that fat in fat grafting. These are sometimes referred to as BBLs, Brazilian butt lift, which is where we take fat from liposuctioning and present it into the buttocks to enhance them. We can also do that with the chest to enhance the breasts. Also, we can elevate the breast in what we call a breast lift. We can augment the breast where we place implants. And we can do a combination of a breast lift and augmentation where you elevate the breast, remove some of the sagginess, and present an implant in there. And with the abdomen, we can also do abdominoplasty, that's often called a tummy tuck. And when we combine a breast lift or breast aug with an abdominoplasty, that's called a mommy makeover.
And Dr. Higgins mentions one more important area that is also addressed by cosmetic surgeons.
There are patients that have had major weight loss surgery, bariatric surgery, and they may have excess skin in the arms and the thighs, and we can do those, what we call brachioplasty or thigh lift. We also do that.
Dr. Jonathan Higgins, a Bahamian doctor bringing his training and talent back home.
Better health, better body, longer life.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Opal Roach.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. Just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after this.
This is the super versatile Ring Stick-Up Cam. It goes indoors, outdoors, outdoors in the rain. It's got two-way talk. Hey, Eddie. Works with Alexa. Comes in tons of power options and works with Ring Alarm to start recording automatically if something's going on. Seriously? Seriously. So start protecting your home with the easy installing indoor-outdoor Stick-Up Cam by Ring.
Spring is here and Easter is right around the corner. Thinking about moving forward with your personal goals that require money? Fidelity Bank can get you approved in no time without the red tape and the runaround. Fidelity offers competitive interest rates and minimal fees. The loan that you need and can afford is just a phone call away.
Link up with BTC and call it one and done. Link up with BTC and call it one and done.
So the setting is not the Big Apple, but the night promises to be as glamorous as the Cancer Society of the Bahamas hosts its 21st annual Met Gala Ball, Saturday, May 27th at the Atlantis Grand Ballroom.
I've been a part of the Cancer Society for almost 20 years. BTC has been very notable in partnering with nonprofit organizations such as the Cancer Society. And so by no means is a very welcoming and it's a very noble thing for them to do because you're giving back. We are so happy. So again, we're very thankful to BTC for partnering in this great way because we know, like I said, every dollar counts in the fight towards saving lives for cancer.
It's been a great experience to staff, the whole establishment. It's very, very helpful. They're very beneficial to persons that comes in from the islands. I have family, friends, relatives here, but it's more convenient for me, transportation-wise, to get to and from my treatments.
We are excited for this 21st annual ball, Met Gala, a golden celebration. So we're all looking to celebrate. Come enjoy what we have planned for you. Great entertainment, lots of prizes, great food. We had the food tasting yesterday, and it is off the chain. BTC is one of them who are always there for the Cancer Society. I can say from the ball perspective, they've always supported us, and we really, really appreciate it.
For more information or to purchase tickets, visit cancerSocietyBahamas.org. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corval Pfeiffer. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Munro, speaking to migration trends before heading off to today's cabinet meeting in Grand Bahama. He noted that boats from the south with illegal immigrants have somewhat decreased and that migration from the northern Bahamas is markedly different, prompting the Royal Bahamas Defense Force to mitigate with plans for more bases.
It's more a matter of persons who may be in the country coming here to be consolidated and then taken to the U.S., usually on like the cabin cruises that capsized and all of the persons died. The Defense Force is looking at establishing a permanent base here on Grand Bahama, and plans are advanced to locate property on which to situate it. There's plans for a base in Bimini, and plans are advanced to locate a site for that, and there will be a site in Abaco as well. The Defense Force is finalizing the acquisition of 4 different additional safe boats, go fast patrol boats, to bolster the fleet here in the north and in the south.
Grand Bahama's post-Hurricane Dorian restoration efforts prompting officials at the Ministry of Grand Bahama and the Department of Labor to collaborate on issuing approved work permits. It's a move fully endorsed by Labor Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell.
I don't believe that we have sufficient labor, Bahamian labor, to help deal with the construction, not just here in Grand Bahama, but certainly throughout the islands, Abaco in particular, and therefore there is a need for foreign labor. Nonetheless, it is a very strenuous exercise in respect to the grant of work permits. And while we have approved a number of work permits, you'll recall earlier this year, I would have indicated that no new work permits are being issued for anyone coming out of Haiti because of the collapse of the government in Haiti. We have approved 1 or 2 in respect to humanitarian reasons, but other than that, it's a very, very strict process in respect to the work permits.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. We have net clear skies this evening. Temperature 81 degrees. The relative humidity 69%. We have north-northeast winds at 10 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,013.6 millibars. That's 29.96 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 79 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Greentoll, Key, and Marshall, Abaco. The Berry Islands at 80 degrees. 81 in Allenstown, Bimini, 80 degrees in Harbor Island and Roxanne, Eleuthera. Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space, Los Angeles, 81, 82 in Fresh Creek, Central Andos, 79s in Allenstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key. Georgetown, Exuma, 81 degrees, 80 degrees in Rygat Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 81, Acklands, 81, Manchitown, Inago, 80, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 81 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center in the northwestern parts of our country for light and variable winds. And this is going to be right through Thursday, and this is really for all areas. Those wave heights are going to be very flat at 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. Low tide takes place at 47 minutes past midnight. The high tide, that will take place at 6:42 in the morning. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
The most important thing in life is family. And whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
If you've got termites and need to get rid of them fast, trust Rentokil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Rentokil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to ZNS Total Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles. Well, well-wishers currently gathering at the Kendall G. Isaacs Gymnasium to pay their respects to Ray Minus Jr. at a memorial being held in his honor. Legendary Bahamian boxing figure passed away last month at the age of 58 after a battle with ALS. Among those in attendance is our very own Marcellus Hall. Marcellus?
All right, thanks a lot, Amajal. We are here at the Kendall Gymnasium as we get ready for the memorial service for Ray Minus Jr. tonight. As you know, a number of well-wishers, friends, family, all in attendance for tonight's homecoming festivities, if you will. I'm here with Kendall Wright. And Kendall, you, of course, are a cousin of Ray. You've been around the family a long time. You've covered a lot of his matches. We see his father coming in, Ray Sr. And so, as you can mention, you know, it's going to be, as you know, a sad occasion, but still very much an occasion of remembrance and happiness and joy.
Marcellus, it's been such a long time, and Ray Jr., a remarkable figure in this country, certainly a Bahamian hero who's done so much. But when I think about Ray, I think about a fantastic boxer, but he's a better human being than he is a boxer, and that's what we're about to talk tonight. We're about to pay a very special tribute to a wonderful Bahamian, a remarkable Bahamian, and a hero of a Bahamian.
You talk about the fact that he was much more than just a boxer. Beyond that, he helped a lot of young people that not only come into the sport, but even beyond that, just as a Bahamian, doing his part to better society.
Yes, when you talk about communal service, I think he represents that to a T. He actually worked with the ministry for so many years as a consultant through his boxing with the L. Garth Wright program that you had with the championship boxing promotion. But Ray is much more than that. He was a consummate gentleman. He was the kind of individual, as some of his brothers would even say, he'd give you the shirt off his back. So you're talking about someone who was not an enormous sportsman, a credit to this country, but someone who was a remarkable citizen.
There it is indeed. So lots of good things coming your way this evening for the memorial service. Amajal, we anticipate a very well-attended event. Fans and friends coming in, even as we speak, should be pretty exciting. We'll give you all the details coming up for you tomorrow. Meanwhile, back to you, Amajal.
Well, yesterday was Championship Monday over in the BAISS as they held their volleyball championships out on Gladstone Road at Aquinas College's campus. 4 teams in the junior divisions facing off to see who would hoist that elusive floating trophy. On the junior girls side, it would be the upstart Lyford Key International Dragons, who had only weeks ago formed their team. And it was evident that the talent and chemistry was there. They take down the Kingsway Academy Saints in 3 sets, taking the final set 21-7 to be crowned BAISS Junior Girls champions.
Yeah, the girls have been working quite hard this semester. They've been doing a co-curricular PE class and then 2 weeks of putting the team together.
Really hard work considering we only started a few weeks ago. And yeah, we won the championship, so I'm really happy.
Were you surprised that you guys were able to pull it off?
I think we held a pretty good team, so I'm really happy it happened, but a bit of surprise.
I feel great because I like the feeling of winning, especially like the entire competition, and especially since all of us have worked so hard to get here.
On the boys' side, it would be the Queens College Comets taking on the St. Andrews Hurricanes, and this one would be a hotly contested affair. Once the dust settled, the trophy would be going back to Village Road. The Comets winning in 4 sets, taking the final set 21-11.
Extremely hard. Saturday's practice, they were out, ready, and focused. They came out and they followed instructions. So hats off to our junior boys from Queens College.
In tennis news, the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association's flagship youth development program continuing to make significant strides. The Play Tennis Initiative continues to grow by leaps and bounds and helping provide significant opportunities for young Bahamians interested in the sport. This weekend, the BLTA hosted a clinic that saw a large contingent of youngsters from the Centerville constituency participate.
And through the collaboration of Michelle and Bristol, they were able to have a lot of young kids participate in our program where we introduce them to the sport of tennis, and hopefully they would have the opportunity to continue to excel, and the educational opportunities and just an opportunity to learn about life and what it means to work as a team and to be a good citizen in the country.
I'm just here as a behind-the-scene character. You know, the president, Michelle, they've actually taken the lead on this, and it goes to show exactly what could happen when we have corporate Bahamas step forward, lead the way, and we're here to just lend a helping hand for all of the children coming from Centerville. It's an excellent program, and I was happy to participate in it in the way that we are doing today.
Switching gears to baseball, Mario Ford continuing to grow the sport of baseball at the grassroots level with this camp that has been in operation for some 37 years. Kicking off its second session recently, this weekend had a very special guest, the grandmother of Bahamian baseball superstar Jazz Chisholm. Both persons spoke on why they feel the need to continue to teach the fundamentals of the sport.
And we take them through the basic fundamentals. You have to know the game, and we teach them the basic skills. Running, hitting, catching, fielding, all that other stuff that goes into it. As you can see in the back here, we have a lot of kids, first-timers, and we just take into it step by step. And after we do the drills, we let them have fun by playing the game so we can see where their skills are.
I think the motivation. And the love for kids. And the love to see the children grow up in the way we need them. You know, from the time Mario and I was doing this, we have good kids. We have kids that gone off now and doing things to make you proud. Yeah. You know, my son gone off to play in college and gone playing good ball for Mario. You know, but after he got hurt, the doctors popped him out, but my grandson Jazz got hurt and he back in the game. So it's the drive and the motivation you have and the mindset you could put into them. You know, knowledge that you had when you were growing up, you should install it into your children. And that's all I should be trying to do, help parents.
And speaking of Jazz, a bit of bad news for fans of the charismatic baseball player. According to local beat reporters in Miami, the Miami Marlins center fielder is dealing with turf toe and will be out indefinitely. This after seeing a specialist. Chisholm left Saturday's loss to the Reds in the 8th inning when he ran into the wall while trying to flag down the go-ahead RBI double off the bat of Cincinnati's Henry Ramos, who was later diagnosed with a right foot contusion. Chisholm hit a solo home run Saturday before being lifted off. On the season, he's hitting .229 with 7 home runs, 16 RBIs, and 14 stolen bases. Look at your sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
National Independence Secretariat recently hosted a 50th Independence Jubilee Day production that brought together the best of Bahamian arts and culture, held at the historic Southern Recreation Grounds, where generations of Bahamians gathered to fight for fair labor conditions, majority rule, and independence. The night's event featured a range of talented artisans, showcasing our story through dramatic prose, music, and dance. And the festivities didn't stop there. With a diverse array of Bahamian vendors on hand, providing delicious food and refreshing drinks, the crowd was energized and ready to celebrate our beloved nation's journey to independence. But this is just the beginning. There are even more exciting events and celebrations to come as we continue on our road to 50 years of independence. So join the beat and visit celebrate-bahamas.com to stay up to date on all the latest news and events.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at whether that mid to upper level low has moved off towards the east, and also that front boundary also sinking towards the south and east, but there is that tail that's dipping across the northern coast of Cuba. That will be lifting northward over the next 24 hours. Will bring some showers to the northwest Bahamas tomorrow afternoon. Now tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy conditions with a low temperature just around the 73-degree mark, and then tomorrow it's going to be partly sunny, a thunderstorming spot in the afternoon. That's primarily due to that troughing, along with the light winds and very warm temperatures. Your high temperature tomorrow should get up to about 86 degrees. Extended weather forecasts are looking like this. Afternoon showers of an isolated nature, and on Wednesday and then Thursday, things pan out quite nicely with mostly sunny conditions, and that will take it right through the weekend and into the early part of next week, with those daytime temperatures starting to get very toasty near the 90-degree mark. We're looking at some upper 80s during the daytime and some mid to upper 70s during the nighttime. Make it slow.
Well, thanks, Basil, and that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.